really solidified in Hollywood as a big name, or as a popular name, from the movie Schindler's List, which won a lot of awards. And basically, a lot of people think that they, know the whole story about Schindler from the movie, and though the movie does cover a lot of the work that he did, it doesn't cover all of it. And so basically, without giving too much away for the next segment, I want to say that Schindler, he was a Nazi, and he did hold a concentration camp. But it's not the type of camp that you would think. No, it was a labor camp, actually, excuse me. But it wasn't a bad camp, and I'll get more into that in the next segment. But he did have camps, yes, and he wasn't a part of the Nazi party, and he wasn't squeaky clean, no, but the work he did save millions, it saved thousands of lives at the time, and those people went on to have children, so in the end, he did save millions of lives.
And so this is a very, very important individual within the Nazi party itself.
Yes.
But at the same time, he objected in a real sense to some of the things that the Nazis were doing, and in a real sense, so you want to talk about that and some of the other things that might be related to this. And this is really a continuation of what we've done in reference to the rise and fall of Adolf Hitler. And at one time you gave us a review over the Second World War and European dictators. And I think that Hitler and Mussolini and Stalin were all a part of that. And so we anticipate what you have to say in reference to that. And when we come back, we'll get into a discussion in reference to that. But I think that basically you've given us what we are looking for. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Over. Got out of there too fast. Almost. Okay, yeah, almost. Half a minute, 30 seconds too fast. 15 seconds. That's what it was.
Quarter of a minute.
Quarter of a minute. Okay, Lana, this is the second segment, and so this is still the life and times of Oscar Schindler. And this is the second segment, and you've got 8 minutes, and it's up to you to carry this thing from now on.
It was up to me.
Well, it's up to you when you came up with the title, you see. And so this is your show, and this is your title, and so this is your information, and et cetera. But if you want to recall some of the things in reference to the visit to Washington, D.C. or whatever, and et cetera, anything that you think might be interested in reference to that. And see, this is also being recorded. You see this information here. Yeah, so we need this. We can put this in, cut this out.
Bloopers. Bloopers.
Not necessarily bloopers. This is additional information that we put. People be curious in terms of how people do things and whatever, and et cetera.
So we can make this into a separate video.
That's what I'm saying. And so we've got 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, now see, okay, very good.
Let's take 10 seconds.
Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Alana McLaughlin, and she's giving us some information in reference to the life and times of Oscar Schindler. And of course, Alana, let's pick up where we left off during the first segment, and to have you to continue dealing with this information in reference to Oscar Schindler and the part that he played in reference to the Second World War as well as to the Holocaust itself.
All right, so in the first segment, I introduced myself. I'm Alana McLaughlin. I talked about my background, education, and a couple programs that I'm involved in and things of the nature. And then I talked about what made me really want to talk about this, and I said, because I went to a camp called the Summer Program for Verbally and Mathematically Precocious Youth, and I took a class on Nazi Germany, and we watched Schindler's List, which is a really famous movie. A lot of people have seen it, you know, you've probably seen it. And after watching the movie, we went to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and I learned more about Schindler, and when I got home, I started to read about him and read about all the great things that he did, and I realized, you know, a lot of this information a lot of people don't know, and so I decided to make that the topic of the show today. Now, Oskar Schindler was a Nazi. That's a lot of people, you know, debate on it. Some people say, no, he wasn't a Nazi. Some people say, yes, he was bad. He was a Nazi, but he wasn't your stereotypical Nazi. Now, me saying stereotypical Nazi meaning, you know, just attached to Hitler by the hip, you know, praise Hitler, hate the Jews, hate the Slavs and Gypsies, etc. He was not the stereotypical Nazi. What he did was he had labor camps. And that's another thing that a lot of people debate on. Some people say that he didn't, and some people say that he did. He did. What he would do is he would go to different camps, or like smaller camps, not, you know, Auschwitz and stuff like that. He would go to smaller camps. When they were in preparation to send people to Auschwitz and things, and camps like that, he would go and he would scout out the ones who weren't very physically able, you know, ones that would be sent to the oven or burned or, you know, shot even before they made it to Auschwitz and things like that. He would scout them out, and he would do either two things. He would pay some of the guards on spot to take them to his labor camp where he was going to put them to work, or he would make a list and send it to the camp and be like, you know, I want so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. And he didn't, no one knew, well, a couple people did know, but for the majority, a lot of people didn't know that he wanted these people not to make them work, but to save them, because if these people would have stayed in their original camps, they would have been killed, because in the Holocaust, they killed children and the elderly, or the non-able-bodied. So basically, if you couldn't walk or missing both your arms, it was like a death sentence. I mean, either way, it was like a death sentence, but that was like a quicker death sentence. And so he scattered out these people, and he sent them to these camps where they were going to make bullets. And why I put that in the little quotation marks is because they didn't make bullets. He bought bullets from out of country, had them shipped in, and when his fellow Nazis would come and inspect the camp, he would arrange a plan with the people who were in his camp at the time, and he would say, okay, pretend like you're making a bullet, and then they would sell them to you know, whoever, and they would be used during the war. Well, they were supposed to be making these bullets. These bullets they weren't making, they were buying. And also, I think some of the bullets didn't work, but I'm not sure on that, but I do think that some of them
that was his cover in a real sense in terms of
that was his disguise. And the reason he was a part of the Nazi party was he wanted to also use that as a part of his disguise, because, you know, who would think that a Nazi was trying to help the Jewish people? And so doing that, he saved thousands and thousands of lives. And basically, when the war was over and done, they were killing off people who had concentration camps for